Hi, everyone. We are back under a new name, the Float Practice. More Floats is dead if you missed the announcement. And I want to introduce to you two new things, the Thriving Profit Line and your long-term member engine. So these are core frameworks that are going to support you in building the foundations of your float center. What I'm really focused on is helping you in the same way that you have developed completely solid, in many ways unshakable foundations of the physical space of your float center. You have poured so much time, energy, and just your heart into creating a space that is so unique and so transformative for people. And what has become so clear to me in working in this industry for the past decade is there is a large gap and lack in the rest of the foundations of the business. That is often because the actual build out itself took much more than you expected. It's also because these other foundations are often more ethereal. They're digital. They're the digital architecture, your website, your systems, your booking system. And those are harder to keep track of. They're harder to spot. You may have less experience around those aspects of the business. And so these two things, the Thriving Profit Line and the long-term member engine, those are going to help create a clear structure, a clear path for you to get to that thriving state with your float center. So let's dive in. Number one, we're going to calculate this Thriving Profit Line for you. Very simple, very straightforward. We want to start with your break-even point. So at its most basic level, and we're not going to get too complex with this. If you do not know what your break-even point is, I speak to a lot of owners where they don't have this number off the top of their head. So right now, I'm going to walk you through just a very simple way of coming to this, so you have a rough idea, and then you can use that to develop from there. At its core, what is the average amount of monthly expenses you need to cover every single month? Let's say it's $15,000 per month. That's a general average for a regular float center. Obviously, there's different sizes and all those things. This is pretty common for a standard center. If you do not have that, let's walk through very quickly a very simple breakdown. There's other ways that are more complex, looking at the variable costs. But if you do not have this, I do not want you to get overwhelmed and just kind of toss everything to the side. Let's get a rough start, work from there, and then you can always add to it and make it a little bit more complex. But basically, you want to take all of your monthly fixed costs. So your rent, your utilities, you can go by an average month for utilities, your subscriptions, insurance, your loan payments, your staff salaries if you have staff, your salary. You want to make sure that you are getting paid for all of this incredible work that you're doing for your community. If you have accounting, cost or retainers, if you have cleaning contracts, maybe like a towel service. I know that there are many centers that do things like that. And then anything else that doesn't really change with volume. So obviously there's other costs to like the variable costs of running the center, but let's just start with that if you don't have anything and come up with that number. So our example, to go back here, $15,000 per month. Okay, we're going to start with that. Step two is very, very simple. Hopefully you already have your membership set up. What is the basic, most simple, basic, most likely single float membership? So your lowest price option, what is that? Again, pretty standard, $69 per month. Now we take those two numbers, your $15,000 break even, divided by your most basic membership. So people are only floating once. They're not on your higher level memberships. This is kind of the most general worst case scenario. And what we want to do is get an understanding of how many active members you need to sustain the business. And this is taking into consideration there's no other revenue, there's no gift cards, there's no second floats for your members. I want to understand and help you understand what does it actually take to sustain with a very stable, with a recurring auto pay that comes from your members. Okay, so at the worst case scenario, at its most basic, we're talking about a little over 200 active members to be breaking even. All that other stuff, that is all profit. Okay, so that is your thriving profit line. And the power is in the simplicity here, because similar to the physical space, there was so much complexity, there was so much work and intention and investment made into that to create the space for incredible simplicity in the experience that people have. And that is what I am doing here for you. Is I want to get rid of all of the complexity, provide some structure and some focus for you, so you have this one North Star number that everything else needs to focus on. Every action, every decision that you're making needs to lead to this, so that you have that sustainable, stable, recurring income that's coming in through the auto pays of the members. You have members that are active and actually in their practice. And so again, at its most basic, this is 217 active members, worst case scenario, only floating once per month. But I'm going to show you in a second how the way that you achieve this, you're going to be getting people who are floating much more. So it's probably going to be a lot easier than this. Very simply, if you're getting those people, rather than one float a month, you get them into a 2 float bi-weekly practice. Every 2 weeks they're floating, which is not a huge ask. All you need is a little over 100 active members. That pays all your bills, all the other revenue that's coming through, all of your gift cards, your additional floats that come through that, referrals, non-member revenue, all of that is profit at that point. Okay. Again, talking very simply here, we want to get to the essence of, really how you get towards that thriving, abundant, overflowing state for your float center. Okay, some other examples here you can look through quickly. Obviously, cheaper memberships might be where you're at currently. You might have lower costs if you're a smaller center, so you might need less members. Maybe a bigger center, or you just have much higher costs if you're in maybe a big city or something like that. So work through your numbers. Most float centers only need 100 to 300 long-term active members to be profitable. So this is, you might have heard Kevin Kelly before talk about your 100 true fans or 1,000 true fans. That's more, smaller scale online digital stuff. But you really only need potentially 100 true fans who really love floating and are your biggest advocates. They provide everything you need. Everything else is overflow. And, in this industry, it's a lot of people with big hearts. You want to help as many people as possible, but it is getting to that overflow abundant state in the simplest way possible that allows you to then give from that place, to be abundant and sharing that what you have built, the value and the service, potentially with people who can't afford it at all. Maybe you can give them some free floats, but you need to first get to this state. So you might be asking yourself, Bryce, that sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to have 100, 200, 300 active members who are, consistently floating, who are bringing in all of the money, and I'm just profitable. That all sounds amazing. How? Let's talk about the long-term member engine. That is how. Okay, so long-term member engine, this is the skeleton, it is the path, it is the customer journey that is all about driving growth sustainably for new members that stick around. So you might have tried things before, Groupon, BOGOs, flash sales, all these things. Maybe you're doing or have done before $1 membership campaigns, hooking them into a 5 month, 6 month commitment, even 3 months maybe. And you've probably seen how you get an initial spike. I've talked a lot about the sugar spikes of a BOGO deal, a flash sale, these big discounts that aren't optimized for this long-term value, and then you have this steep drop-off. It's the exact same thing. You sell a membership at $1, you add a whole bunch of members, and you will see almost every single time, if you look into your reports, as soon as that commitment ends, that 3 months, the 5 months, 6 months, there is a massive cliff drop-off of all those people. And that is because they do not have the proper support to actually build the habit and the practice. And that is what this member engine is going to do. It might seem a little bit familiar if you already have the intro 3-pack that has been bread and butter, it has served this industry well. But I have been going deeper and deeper into really being strategic and leverage with that offer and with that strategy, and how that can lead to more long-term members. So at its basics, I'm going to walk you through the intro 3-pack if you have not heard it, if you don't have it yourself. Very simple. Buy 2 floats, get 1 free, or 3 floats for the price of 2. 2 ways of talking about it. You take your single regular price float price, times that by 2, you give them 3 floats, they get 1 free. That's often, you should be probably over $100. So you're getting more revenue up front. It's a bigger commitment. No expiry. You don't want to penalize them or have them, fear losing out on that value. But the deal is, if you complete all 3 of those floats within 3 weeks, you get a 4th one for free. So you get at that point, 50% off, which is an amazing deal. And you might be like, oh, I thought you were the guy who's always harping against discounts and don't do any discounts. No, I am all for strategic offers that are a win-win for you and the client. So the reason you can give them that 50% off is because they have to earn it. They have to float on a weekly basis. First, second, third, within 3 weeks. So they're starting off at a much higher bar. They're also paying more money. It's a over $100 sale, which if you're running ads will help you have a higher ROAS, gets more revenue up front. But you're kickstarting them into that habit, and they have motivation, because if they get that 4th bonus float for free, that's an amazing deal, 50% off. But only if they earn it, if they put in the action. So what happens is, every single person, we're trying to get into that intro pack. If they come in on a first float, you're working to upgrade them. So as many people as possible, we are looking to buy the intro pack and then complete it to have those 3 or 4 floats within a couple weeks. Then you have prime candidates, that's a better word, candidates to become members. So this is every single new customer, every first float, every gift card, every experience pack, someone who's coming in for the first time. They are going through this path, and this is how you will measure and track everything. That is the engine. So let me walk you through the different points that you will be focused on as you are working to optimize this, as you're building this engine within your business. There's 7 key KPIs that you're looking at. So the number of new customers, number of intro 3-packs that you sell, the conversion rate between new customers and sales, the completion rate, the number that get through and earn the bonus float, the number of memberships sold, the membership conversion rate, and then the number of active members. So these 7 really help you to understand how this is performing, biggest leverage for what you can work on. And again, the offer, it's very strategically placed and used, where this is only for new customers. There's no expiry, don't worry. And it also allows you to, once you make that sale, work with them and talk with the customer and just make sure, hey, let's get that 2nd and 3rd float booked in now. Let's get it on your calendar. I want to make sure that you get the best deal, that you earn that bonus float, right? So there's strong reason and easy sell to be able to break through the barrier, where what's probably happening right now in your business, I hear it over and over and over. We have these people come in for a first float. They give us a 5-star review. They talk about how amazing it was. Maybe it was even a life-changing first float. Doesn't always happen. But I hear this where I don't understand at all why they didn't come back. And they need this structure. They need the encouragement. They need the support and sort of hand holding to get to that second, that third, and the fourth. And it's the intro 3-pack. Obviously, the staff interaction and how this is all handled. There's some systems that can be added, but it's really the offer that will do the heavy lifting here to not only get them back for a second time, but a third, a fourth, and then it's a much, much easier sell into membership. Now, this is also where what we were talking about before was simple one float a month members, right? But what this long-term member engine is going to do for you is it is getting people who are coming in on a weekly practice. It's not going to work for everyone to be able to continue to float every week. There for sure will be some people who can, have the time and the money for that, or are getting so much value that they'll prioritize it and continue that practice. But you're starting at a much higher level, and then you're selling them down, where worst case scenario, if they're floating once per month, for sure they can afford that and make the time for it, because I've already been floating weekly. So that is where it could be much easier than that initial plan, because you have some people that maybe float 3 times a month, every 2 weeks. You have some that will slide down and go to 1 float a month, but they've already done a lot more work to build that habit where they're much more likely to stick around as a member, float more often, and then probably have a much more powerful story that they can share that will then feed the engine at the beginning with your paid ads, with your social media, all those things. All right, so what does this look like in numbers? Let me lay it out for you here. Our example, to pull it forward, was 217 members. We're going for that in about 12 months. So what does that look like? Each month, we need about 90 new customers. We're going to be selling about 40 intro 3-packs at a conversion rate of 45%. 30 of those people complete their intro 3-pack. They get the bonus. They do all the floats in 3 weeks. So we're completing the packs at 75%. And then we convert 18 new members from those intro 3-packs. So we're converting memberships at a 60% conversion rate. So these KPIs, again, are going to be what you keep your eyes on. You'll be monitoring these every week in your leadership meeting. And then you can use that to spot, like, where is the greatest leverage here? And I'll talk about this more as I go to the tool that you will be able to download. So stick with me here. You can check out the link below to fill out your information and get this tool for yourself. It's going to provide that structure, but stick with me here a few more minutes. So let's look at this engine quickly. Just visualize that data. I was laughing because one of my clients was saying that she was very glad that I had the list before compared to this. I'm more visual, so either way, I hope this helps you to see it. 90 new customers, 45% conversion rate. We have 40 intro packs that are sold. Complete 30 of them for a 75% conversion rate, completion rate. We sell 18 at 6% conversion rate. So we're adding each month, if we continue on that pace, 18 members, times that by 12 months. We are one shy of our thriving profit line of the 217 from before. Now, let's move over and I'll show you the tool that you can download completely free. I'm giving this to you to help you get to that thriving state. It's a gift to just help in how you're serving your community. Let's take a look. Okay, so this sheet, this tool is going to guide you. It's going to do a lot of heavy lifting for you. All you have to do here is plug in the blue columns, your business reality, your numbers. And we're going to get a little bit more nuanced if you already have, like if you're running, if you've got members, if you're able to access this data with your booking system. I highly recommend you get a little bit more nuance because you might have higher price memberships and maybe you have a good chunk, 20-30% of your members are on those higher ones. So you can download your member list, take an average of the price across all your members currently. And then maybe that's like 77. And you can see as we update that, we need a lot less, well, about 15 less members if we adjust accordingly. Same thing. We were anticipating 1 float per month. That's about, 200-ish members. If we get everyone to float on average 1 more, we go from 197 to 89. Half the members, obviously, right? But this will help you. It might not always be a nice clean number. Maybe it's 1.75 because we're talking about averages. And so that will help you keep track of what is necessary, what the goal is. And it might be much more attainable than you think. So we'll put in your break even, your current active members. And really important as well is you can pull and look at how long are your members currently staying with you. That will help to calculate your lifetime value of a member. And this is absolute gold, because if you are struggling with sales, if you maybe you or your staff lack motivation, if you can see, hey, every member on average, I'm getting about $400 in lifetime value from them. It might be a lot more. I've seen some float centers that are doing really well, very member focused. And once you have clarity on that number, then you can make decisions based around that. Because maybe you're not spending any money, maybe you're not really investing anything in member rewards. But let's say if this was $1,000. Oh, I hit it almost on the head there. That's what I was going for. If we go from 500, now we're up to $1,000, I might be more willing to provide some really nice, perks and rewards and invest in my members more, because I know that I'm getting about $1,000 on average in their term. I might be willing to spend more on advertising and marketing efforts to find those new customers and fill the engine. If I know that I'm, really winning in the long term with that value. So very powerful metric there. But it's going to walk you through, all you do is fill out these blue ones. It's going to calculate all the ones on the right side, yellow and green, to show you your thriving profit line, number of active members you need based on your, based on all your numbers, your current setup. It'll take into consideration your active members that you have. So it shows you the number of new members you need to thrive. It's going to break down, your estimated revenue based on all those things. For the average non-member monthly revenue, just take general average from the 12 months. Again, we're working, we want to simplify this. It's obviously not going to be exact. It's not perfect. That's not what we're going for. We want simplicity, structure, clarity. That's going to help tremendously. Okay, now we're looking at the long-term member engine. This is where you can keep track of your general conversion rates. It's going to, so on this left hand here is where you put your numbers in. It's going to auto-calculate your estimated growth. It's also going to show you, if we are only converting 20% of intro packs, that is not good. It's going to tell you very clearly, not great. Only 30% of people are getting the bonus float. They're completing the intro pack. That makes no sense, because it's an amazing deal. There's a very clear reason of why they should be able to complete those floats, get them booked in, earn the bonus, get the best value. So it'll guide you with that. You put in your membership churn. And again, it's going to just help you basically understand these two key metrics in green. The number of new members you can estimate to bring in each month, and then how many months it's going to take to reach your thriving profit line. Okay, now we've got a weekly scorecard. So again, those key data points, it's going to calculate based on the other numbers. All you do is input in the blue squares. It's going to auto-calculate the other conversion rates so you can keep track. And then you just take notes every week. What is working? What is not? How can we adjust? And on a monthly basis, you take those averages, you get a higher level sense. And then same thing. Are there trends maybe for the summertime or during the holidays, or different based maybe on different initiatives of your business or your local area? Maybe there's certain things going on in your area that need to be accounted for. So this is going to provide that structure. I really encourage you, if you have staff, to obviously have them involved in this, get their opinion, because that is where you will be able to tap into their wins and insights. If you have a staff member who is crushing, selling so many intro packs, completion rates way higher than everyone else, ask them why. Like, what are they doing? What is going on? What is working? You share that across with the rest of the staff, and the whole the bar gets lifted across the board. So I really encourage you as well, having open conversation. And if there's a bad week, bad month, not to get too down on yourself, but just dig into the data. Why? What was going on? Sometimes it's not necessarily anyone's fault. It's just that's what it is. But what can we learn from it? And if you commit to this, if you stick with it, each week you're writing the notes, keeping track, you're having conversations with your staff, that will be where you can compound all of this insight, compound those wins, and get to that thriving profit line that you have probably been striving for quite some time. Maybe you've made a bit of progress, but it hasn't been stable. And these structures will help you drastically. As I said before, really just keep your focus on this number. Whatever that number is for you, that number of active members, 1 float a month, 2 floats a month, whatever it is. If you block out all the rest of the noise, the chaos, if you stay committed to your float practice, to knowing deeply the value that you are providing for your community, if you are keeping contact with these people that are becoming members as you start to fill this engine, you collect their stories, and you're able to share that with your staff and share that with the rest of your community, to really show the incredible transformation that can happen from even just a few floats, just that initial intro pack, let alone 3 months, 6 months, a year of committed, regular, consistent floating, an actual float practice. Again, these structures will help hold their hand. It will help to support them through that process. So if you stay close to that work, you block out all the rest of the noise. I would love to hear how this helps. I would love to hear you achieving your thriving profit line. My goal is to get as many centers as possible to into that thriving state, to show how possible it is for these businesses to be profitable, to serve their communities in a way that is abundant and overflowing, not with your float tank, but with your state of being, and with finances, and just the overall calm vibe of what floating is really about. So if you want these tools, if you are excited about finding your thriving profit line, digging into this, and really committing to getting people into a long-term stable membership, both for your business and for that person as well, to serve them in a much deeper way, just fill out your information below. It's completely free. No strings attached, and I'd love to share these tools with you to be able to support you in supporting your community. And if you would like more in-depth support, if you would like to work on the systems, the automations, the strategies that can really strengthen the foundations of this framework, that is what I work with my clients on. I would love to have a conversation with you. You can book a call below, and we can just see if it's a good fit for us to work together. Regardless, I hope that this helps you in thriving and helping to serve your community in a much deeper way. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks.